Hello everyone, I am Usha Rani from the Department of CSBS in Ramco Institute of Technology. So in this session, we are going to see about organizational culture and environment. So foundational elements of organizational success is organizational culture, organizational climate and the dynamics of organizational change. These concepts are not just abstract theories, they are the invisible forces that determine how organizations operate, adapt, and ultimately thrive. So, in this session, we will overview the critical pillars of the organizational success. We begin by framing the role of manager. There are two types of views: omnipotent view and symbolic view. The omnipotent view sees the manager as the all-powerful captain. Success or failure is direct result of their decision and competency. They are solely accountable for the organization performance. But conversely, in the symbolic view argues that managers' impact is limited. They are constrained by the vast external forces, the economy, government, or competitive technology. So managers in this view primarily serve as symbols of control during chaotic times, but they are not the sole determinant of destiny. The truth, as we will see, lies in the middle. The manager operates within boundaries, and those boundaries are defined by two major constraints. One is the external environment, another one is internal organizational culture. So managerial discretion refers to the extent to which a manager can influence the outcomes of their department or organization. This discretion is framed by two sets of factors. First one is external environment, another one is organizational culture. So imagine a tech company CEO. If the company operates in a stable market, but the company culture is deeply bureaucratic, the CEO's discretions will be very low. So they are fighting internal inertia more than the external threats. If the market is dynamic and the culture is adaptive, so discretion is high. So understanding this interplay is key. We first explore the internal constraints, that is the organizational culture. Organizational culture is the shared values, principles, traditions, and the way of doing things that influence the way organization members act. It's the personality of the organization. We can categorize this personality across 7 core dimensions. These range from innovation and risk taking, the degree to which employees are encouraged to take chances, attention to detail, the precision expected in work. They include outcome orientation, that is focusing on results over process, people orientation, that is valuing fairness to employees, team orientation, that is organizing work around teams, not individuals. Finally, aggressiveness, that is competitiveness versus cooperation, and stability, that is maintaining the status quo. So a tech startup, for example, a tech startup likely scores high on innovation and aggressiveness but low on stability. A government agency, by contrast, prioritizes stability and attention to detail but scores low on rapid risk taking. So a strong culture is characterized by widely shared values and deeply held beliefs that communicate a consistent message. When values are strong, employees demonstrate greater commitment, and there is a stronger connection between shared values and organizational behavior. Think of companies like Apple, Disney. A weak culture has values limited to few people, often just top management. The culture sends contradictory messages and employees show little identification or commitment. So this often leads to ambiguity and a lack of direction for staff. While a strong culture can be a powerful asset, it can also become a liability if it prevents the organization from adapting to a changing environment. This is known as a culture lock-in or structural inertia. Culture is passed down and learned through several key channels, that is, stories. Narratives about the founders are past major events, so keep history and values alive. So, next one is rituals, that are repetitive activities that reinforce values. For instance, a company wide annual innovation challenge. Next one is material symbols or physical assets, the open plan office, the casual dress code, or reserved parking spots, which communicate who is important and what is valued. So, finally, language like jargon, unspecified acronyms act as a common denominator that bonds insiders. So many companies use the ritual of Friday afternoon happy hour or Monday morning stand-ups, not just for functional reasons but to reinforce values like teamwork and collaboration. The casual attire at Google reinforces their cultural value of comfort and non-conformity. Today, cultures are often designed with the specific outcomes in mind. An ethical culture is fostered by a high tolerance for risk, moderate aggressiveness, and focus on how results are achieved as much as the results themselves. The innovative culture thrives on challenge, freedom, trust, and openness. It is one where failure is viewed as a learning opportunity, not a punishment. So, this is crucial for dynamic industries. A customer responsive culture requires widespread empowerment, minimal rigid rules, and excellent listening skills among frontline staff, allowing them to instantly solve customer problems. So, now let's shift to the external constraints, the environment. We divide this into two parts. One is specific environment, another one is general environment. Specific environment includes external forces that have a direct and immediate impact. These are your customers, suppliers, competitors, and pressure groups. Managers interact with these daily. The general environment involves the broad context of external conditions: economic, social, culture, political, demographic, and technological factors. These factors affect all organizations in the long run but may not demand immediately specific action. For example, a global recession impacts everyone while a new competitor only affects a few. The degree of risk facing a manager is determined by environmental uncertainty, which is a function of two variables: the degree of change and degree of complexity. The complexity refers to the number of components in the environment. Change refers to how frequently those components shift. The most dangerous quadrant is cell 4, that is high uncertainty, where the environment is both dynamic and complex. This demands the most adaptable, flexible, and responsive management style. So, for example, a small local bakery operates in cell 1, that is simple and stable. A cryptocurrency exchange operates in cell 4, dynamic and complex, right? Our final concept emphasizes the importance of managing external relations. Stakeholders are any group or individual affected by the organization's decision. That is employees, customers, suppliers, community, or shareholders. Effective stakeholder management involves four-step process. The first one, identify who are stakeholders. Second, determine their specific interest. Third, decide how critical each stakeholder is to your success. And finally, determine the appropriate strategy to manage that relationship. For example, a critical stakeholder for a large manufacturing plant is the local community. If the plant pollutes, the community acts as a pressure group. Ignoring their interest will inevitably lead to protest, legal battles, and reputational damage. So we have established that managers navigate a landscape defined by an internal learned culture and a vast, ever changing external environment. Mastering the ability to read and respond to both of these constraints is the hallmark of effective strategic management. So, thank you for joining this session.